What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Old Gang podcast, the show where a handful of bros get together to talk about the latest in Star Wars, Marvel, and more. This episode, we'll be talking about the season finale of The Boys, Season 3. With me to talk about it tonight, I've got Aiden Quinn.
Hello. I'm glad to be back on. Talk about the season finale, man. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Very exciting. We've also got Justin Kenny himself.
Yo, what's good, everyone? I'm glad to be back.
Glad to have you back. Glad to have you back. And rounding the group out for this episode is Dylan Santiago.
Bro, that was clever because there's 4 of us.
That's facts. Yes, sir. Anyway, to get us started with just leaving your starting thoughts on the episode, I'm going to start with you, Dylan. What did you think?
A lot of people were disappointed in it. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like a moral dilemma for me. Like, would you rather them, I don't even know, bro. Like, to me, at heart, it was disappointing, but like, I see why they made it as like not as anticlimactic as they did. You know what I mean? Like, they can't just have people like throwing hands and like killing each other left and right. And they can't have Homelander Soldier Boy is not dead, but they can't have Homelander or Butcher die this season because they kind of make up the show. So I felt like they kind of cheaped it out on what they like the stakes that they were leading up to. But I mean, I feel like it was a big enough payoff. The CGI though, I like how I'll save it for when we talk about the big fight at the end.
All right. Fair opening thoughts. Yeah. I will say I'm more in agreement with you. I think I like this episode, but we'll get into that. First, I want to hear Aiden's thoughts. Aiden, what'd you think?
I thought it was overall a very well episode. I definitely have some complaints. I mean, from a writing standpoint, I felt like characters, everything I felt like wrapped up well. It's just going off the whole stakes thing and just, dragging it out. I mean, they hyped up this Butcher and Homelander fight for months. They leaked a set photo with Homelander and Butcher. They came out with this whole thing like thinking it's going to be the last fight, and it definitely was a little disappointing from that standpoint. But I do feel like what they did with Homelander and Butcher at the end was more of a I'm just nervous they're trying to drag this out for more seasons than they have to. We know we're waiting on Homelander to snap. We know we're waiting on like a falling out, but how many seasons can they do that? Personally, I feel like one more season will do, but I feel like they're trying to set up a bigger show than that. But I think overall, like besides that little complaint, I do feel like it was an amazing episode.
I totally agree with you, and we'll get to it. But like, I think with the way that this episode ends and the way this season ends, we are going to see something very different next season. Like, that's not a guarantee, but like with the way they leave things off, I think it's a strong possibility, but we'll get into it. But first, Justin, what were your thoughts on the episode?
Oh, I'll come out and say that I did not like this episode. I think the biggest problem with this is that everything else has had it set up such high stakes. But I think in doing so, the finale does not deliver on those. And it kind of sets up promises that are not fulfilled in the slightest, or not the slightest, but much at all towards the end. And I think the biggest issue that I have is that there's only really a few issues that could be changed that would make this like infinitely better than it already was. But as of now, really not feeling this episode. Maybe on a rewatch and on maybe season 4, we'll expand upon things that I didn't like about this and make it a lot better. But not the biggest fan of this episode. But we'll get into that.
All right. Well, personally, I really, really like this episode a lot. I thought it was great, but I did think that it might have been the weakest episode of the season, which it depends on like what you think of that statement, because every episode has been a banger, including this one to some extent, just not as much in my opinion. There were a lot of things that I loved. There were also a lot of things though that I was kind of lukewarm on, as we'll get into. Like just one thing, and we'll get into it in more detail after I just give these thoughts. But just what they did with Maeve this episode as an example, I feel like that could have been different, and if it had been different, then I think it would have been. I think it would have served the character better, like her arc, and it would have given the episode an extra emotional punch that I felt was kind of needed. Like they set up a lot in this episode. They set up throughout the whole season. The emotional stakes haven't been higher, like arguably in the entire series so far. But with the way this episode goes, it kind of just becomes kind of just like a fist fight between everyone, with like there's some emotional substance in there, but like I feel like there's not nearly as much as there could have been. And they're obviously saving that for next season and future seasons after that. But like I feel like this episode just could have used more. With that being said, though, what they did well in this episode, they did extremely well. With the end of Starlight's arc that she had this season, I thought it was fantastic. We'll get into that. Like there were so many things that this episode did right character wise, with A-Train especially too. In his 2 scenes that he had in this episode, I'm completely back on board with him being kept alive. Like I can see that they have a plan for him in season 4, and I'm excited to see it come through. So I did think there were some good character moments throughout this episode. I think the plot of the episode could have been done better, and I think it could have been in better service to the season as a whole. But overall, I like this episode, but it wasn't as great as the rest of the season has been. I love the ending. I loved the ending, and we'll get into it. But for now, I kind of want to talk about the beginning of the episode, where they just straight up drop the fact that everybody knows that Soldier Boy is Homelander's father. He just straight up told them off screen. I feel like that is one of the things that this episode should have done better. Either we should have seen that scene play out, or they shouldn't have known it, period. And the whole thing could have gone the way it had gone. Just he could have revealed in that moment when he first goes to see Homelander with Butcher in Vought Tower. He could have revealed then to Butcher and have Butcher's reaction in that scene. I feel like it could have improved that scene. Just hearing him find out for the first time, but instead we find out at the very beginning of the episode that they found out he told them, him and Butcher and Huey off screen. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
what do you guys think about
I
this?
definitely see where you're coming from on that, but like, I feel
I
like
just feel like it could have added a bit more
Yeah, yeah.
tension. You know, I feel like that's something this
I
episode needed
feel
a
like
bit
the
more of.
writers would have. I feel like the writers thought if they wrote the scene where it played out, where like he just reveals to Huey and Butcher, before the fight, they probably thought that would have been a little cringy for them to act out, maybe. And then I think it was
I don't necessarily think they needed to have acted out. I think like we could have just gotten a scene where he tells them and like they're silent, as we see is at the beginning of this episode. Like he tells them and then he just says, "I need to have a drink" or something.
Oh
I just
yeah,
feel like
true,
that
true.
could have added some
Yeah,
emotional
you're right.
impact.
So
and
it
could have-
served no purpose in the beginning. It would have served
Mhm.
him telling them like in Vault Tower would have been so much better.
I agree.
I feel like it was definitely necessary for him to do it before, because of the scene where like he's talking about his Soldier Boy talks about his dad,
right.
like Homelander's grandfather, and they kind of draw like this similarity between like, I don't know, like it set up the whole thing where Soldier Boy like continued that cycle of abuse that Billy did. Like Billy's family is in this whole cycle of abuse that he is continuing on now, like after leaving his brother Lenny, and then Homelander's doing the same thing, and then at the end of the show it shows that it's going to continue on to Ryan. But basically like it came full circle when Soldier Boy told Homelander that he's a disappointment.
No, totally. And I love the scene where Soldier Boy was talking about his dad. I thought that it made you, after last episode, you see how much of a dick he is, and like it made you hate him so much. Like I felt like that scene made you feel some empathy for him, which the show
Yeah.
does so well with its villains.
Right.
And just every character, really, every shitty character. But yeah, I see where you're coming from there. And I agree. That's why I think like I would have liked it either way. I just think we could have gotten a moment where
Yeah.
he tells them and we see the
I
reaction.
I see where you're coming
you know?
from there. I just think it was important to do beforehand, like so that it would have like the same punch when he's literally like Homelander's so confused, like, what do you mean? Like I'm weak?
Right.
Like I'm you. And then he's like, yeah, I know
So
that.
good. Yeah.
He's
That
like,
was such a good line.
yeah, that's exactly how I know.
Justin, what do you think about this? Did you like this? Or do you agree with what we're saying here?
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with it as much because it's not. I think the biggest the biggest way to reveal it was to the audience as opposed to like the characters, and I think that for us to see it in real time first and then for them to find out is fine. But just really quick, going back to like the first, I think because we skipped over like the first scene with like Homelander visiting Ryan at Mallory's
Right.
place.
Yeah.
That's
think-
how it's done.
That was probably like one of Homelander's best scenes, and
Yes.
really kind of characterizes him pretty well. Like him telling him that like, oh, Becca's death was an accident, and that when you're as strong as we are, like accidents happen, and that's all it is. And he's like, that's why I'm always gonna love you. Like, it's a different side of Homelander that we don't really see, and part of me is like, oh, he's just doing this because Ryan's a superhero, a soup, and obviously he's gonna treat him differently than normal people. But also, it's also his son, and it kind of really hones in on this theme of this cycle of hatred and torment, and also fatherhood and childhood. I thought that was probably one of the best scenes of the entire episode.
I totally agree. It was just a
know.
genuinely tender moment that we pretty much have never seen from Homelander, even in season 2 when he was with Ryan.
Right.
Like it wasn't the same as we saw in this episode.
Yeah, and like Ryan's like lips are quivering, and like he hugs
Yeah.
Homelander, and it does a close-up shot to Homelander looking down at him, and he's kind of smiling, and it's just like a really, really like good scene.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Totally.
I love how that all like plays into Butcher's like mess up with his lash out on
Oh yeah.
him, and that's basically he felt like he could get away with that, but your actions have consequences.
Bro, I
love
forgave
that they
Star-Lord.
reconnected that.
Wait, Dylan, what'd you say?
I forgave Star-Lord after seeing what Butcher did
Oh, wait, what do you mean?
when he hit Thanos, bro.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
That wasn't shit compared to what Billy Butcher did.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I do have gripes with that, but like just to finish up this point and like switch on to another one. Like I loved how the way this scene played out, this very opening scene with Homelander and Ryan, it definitely raised the stakes for the episode higher than they already were. And like just connecting it to the point about Soldier Boy revealing that he's Homelander's father, I felt like if just that scene had played out differently, I feel like the stakes could have felt even higher. Like the tension could have felt like greater, but like that's like a really small nitpick. Like I feel like the stakes were high from the very opening scene, which I really appreciated. And it was an awesome scene, but just speaking on the stakes, like the stakes were high in this episode, and there were real stakes in the main example being Black Noir's quote unquote death, which we'll get into in a second, but
That might not even be true.
Exactly. Like we could just talk about that now. Like I don't know, like with the way that scene plays out and like just the light in his eyes, just like going out as his cartoon friend tells him he's entering the sweet embrace of Christ the Lord. like with the way that played out, like I kind of think it signified that he's actually dead. Like I don't think Homelander obviously knows that he has a healing factor. I think that by him just fucking ripping out his intestines and shit, like he was very deliberate because like he wanted to kill him. So I think whatever he did exactly, I think that actually might have killed him.
No,
Yeah.
Black Noir is actually. I believe that Black Noir is actually dead. The only thing I see people theorizing is the whole cloning thing.
Yeah, I've
Someone
heard
saying
that too.
Stan has a
Oh,
clone,
yeah.
and they're gonna clone him because the whole comics thing. That's basically what his character is based off.
Yeah.
Of. I just feel
Mhm.
like his death was so emotional, and like
Yeah.
he became. I do think it was unfair what they did, writing him
Yeah.
to be such a well character like the last 2 episodes,
Mhm.
and then deciding to kill him off like that.
Yeah.
That wasn't fair, but
It
you
helped
don't
raise
bring
the
him back.
stakes.
Yeah, it did raise the stakes, and I do like that, but.
I'm
I
very
wish they
adamant-
they
yeah.
dragged it out through like they gave him like
I-
even character development throughout the episodes because I felt like the second to last episode you just knew it was happening. They rushed.
Yeah.
I felt
Yeah.
like they rushed his character development.
He
Well,
was a complete joke for the entire series until
Yeah.
the last
The only thing
until
we
like
knew
the
about
third
him
to
was
last
his
episode.
allergy to almond joy, and then like
Yeah.
you loved his character the second to last episode, but then it felt like you knew so much about him that it was like, all right, they're gonna kill him off next episode. Just makes sense. It was just like it was basically how is he gonna die? Most
Yeah.
people thought Soldier Boy. He didn't even get to Soldier Boy.
Yeah,
I'm very adamant about this point. Like, I think Noir had like narratively, I think he had a near perfect death because
Oh, I
season one
totally
and
It
two.
was a sad as fuck death too,
Yeah.
bro. I was
Yeah,
like about
man.
to tear. Those
Seriously.
cartoons were
too.
making me tear up, man.
But
Like,
not
Me
only
too.
not only that, but like season 1 and 2, Homelander talks about how like he doesn't like anyone but Noir. Noir is like his closest friend, and for Homelander with his own hands to kill Noir is probably the biggest turn in his character. Like Homelander has done fucked up things, but we always known him to be fucked up. But we also always knew that he loved Noir,
Yeah.
right? But
He's
for
like a
him-
fucking brother to him,
Yeah.
basically.
But for him to kill Noir with his own hands is like the true unhinged nature of Homelander from this point. Like this is Homelander's turning point. And I think like narratively for him to be killed like that, so I guess quote unquote like easily, really does show the brutality of Homelander and just how much off the rails he's gonna go. And I think that scene was perfect. And I really, really wish he's dead because I think they just did it perfectly.
I completely agree, and I think that I just don't think there's any reason for them to do like either a clone thing or a replacement thing to like continue Black Noir's like legacy within the Seven. Like
he doesn't
as a
serve
thing by
anything
thought.
without Soldier Boy now. Soldier
Right.
Boy being contained,
Yeah.
he doesn't serve any purpose now.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
Like,
also though, like if Homeland with the way this episode ends, and we could just like get into it now if you guys want, but just the way this episode ends with all of his supporters just
it's
being
fucking
cool with him
brilliant.
fucking killing people now.
Yeah, it's
Just the
over.
dick riding in that last scene. Like
Todd
Yeah.
fucking
if
top
Black
tier
if
meat
Homelander
rider.
just fucking issues a statement just saying that he killed Black Noir because he was like not on his side, his
He's
supporters
traitor.
would buy that and they would
Oh,
be cool
yeah.
with it.
100%.
Like
Yeah.
Black
That's-
Noir could totally be dead and everyone would be cool with it. Like all of his supporters would be cool with it.
That's the
That's all
only
he needs
thing
to
this
say.
whole show that I predicted was that his supporters wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Like
I didn't think it was gonna. I didn't think Todd would be the fucking one to start that chant though. That caught me off
It was
guard. I think
perfect,
it was
though.
That was
great,
funny as
though.
fuck, but
it
yeah.
was funny as fuck and it made me hate his character even fucking more.
Yeah.
And which I thought was impossible, but like the fucking dick riding, dude.
Oh yeah.
Fucking insane. Crazy. But that was such a good scene though. Like it was probably the best way they could have ended the season.
Yeah.
And like Ryan just being there next to him, like you see him smile, him
The
realizing
the violin, like the
Yeah.
strings, man, like crazy.
so
Crazy.
tense.
Yeah.
like just Ryan in that moment realizes that he could do whatever the fuck he wants to. And like
That
that sets
end
up
scene
his
saved it from being like a lot worse
Totally.
than it could have been that season.
I
that
completely
ending was
agree.
perfect.
It was a pitch perfect ending. Like it literally built on everything that the season was setting up, and it sets up perfectly for season 4 for Homelander to just literally do whatever the fuck he wants, and that's exactly what we're gonna see. So it's gonna be crazy. But I don't know. Does anyone else have anything does anyone have anything they want to say about this about the ending?
Not the specific ending. Like I feel like what was said. I don't know what their Ryan's a interesting character. What they want to do with him, like what they're gonna do at the end. Like if Butcher's gonna try to save him, or we're just gonna see him completely like lose all trust in Butcher and just completely.
Well, I
become,
think
like,
he already
homeless.
has. He has already
think so?
lost
You
trust
don't
in
think-
Butcher. Yeah.
No, he
After
had,
the way
no
Butcher
definitely lost trust, but like you don't think there is a turning point for Ryan. I do think
There's a chance.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do think there's still a chance that he would. Come
I don't know. I think he's far gone. I think
but
he's
I do
gone.
think it would be cool if I don't know. It would be cool if like he basically just lost himself. And
I'm telling you right now, if
becomes
they
just,
really
you know,
if they
Homeland.
really got the balls that they have so far, Butcher's gonna kill Ryan, and then
Oh.
season 5 is gonna be Homelander versus Butcher, and then like Homelander's gonna come out and say that like, oh, but like Butcher killed my kid, and
Yeah.
then we're gonna get Butcher from the comics, who's a complete. If you think Butcher in the show is an asshole, comic
Yeah.
Butcher is completely like a complete fucking dick. Like he's completely.
I
different.
think all the counterparts in the comics are way worse. I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like they actually
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
comics
for
just
sure.
they went
Exponentially.
wild.
Yeah, yeah. But Homelander, I mean, Butcher in particular, is whew, he is quite the asshole.
I mean, next season I could see like I could totally see that. I could see Butcher trying to save Ryan somehow, and it just
Yeah.
completely backfires to the point where he does just have to kill him. But I could also see something like just Ryan. I could see Ryan killing Butcher, or I can
No.
even see Ryan
Thinking,
killing
yeah.
Homelander.
The show is at now what they did with Butcher. I feel like I don't know. I wouldn't see Ryan killing Butcher. I don't know, but I feel like they really want to make Butcher's death impactful.
Yeah.
with,
I-
with
I mean,
giving him the
he's a
time
dead
to
man.
live.
He's a
He's
dead
a
man
dead man
anyway.
regardless, but I feel
Yeah.
like they're really gonna make his death impactful. So I feel like it's going to be the last episode of the show.
Yeah,
I do feel like Butcher's death will end the show.
I still think they're gonna do the comic ending for Butcher. I think that's a perfect ending for him. But like I could see them doing either or. I really hope they do the comic ending. I think the comic ending is really good for his character arc. But
What's the comic book ending?
you guys want to? Is everyone's cool with the comic book spoiler? Or
Yeah, I think so.
So-
Dylan, you cool with it?
I was just gonna take my headphones off. I'm
Okay.
probably gonna read it.
yeah, so
I kind of want to read it too, but I'm curious just for the conversation.
Yeah, so basically Butcher sets off a bomb that like kills like every single soup or like a whole fuck ton of soups. And he kills Mother's Milk and kills Frenchie and Kimiko. And then he is confronted by Huey and they're fighting on top of a tower and they fall and Butcher fucking stabs his leg in a pole or Butcher's paralyzed and then Huey stabs his leg in a pole. And Butcher kind of regretting everything because he cries a couple chapters before or a couple pages before. And Butcher tells Huey like, oh, I killed your parents. And Huey fucking stabs Butcher in the face and kills him or in the chest and kills him. But before Butcher dies, he's smiling because Huey calls his parents and they're still alive. So Butcher basically wanted Huey to kill him. And that was kind of the ending because
I can tell you for a fact there's no way they're gonna go that route.
really you don't think
There's
so?
no way. For
Okay.
like with the way even in just this season, with the way they've changed Butcher's character, they made him kind of a better person. Like in this episode, he saves Huey's life.
Yeah.
He does a lot of good this season in his own fucked up way, and I think just him getting his death sentence, it's just gonna like make him want to be a better person even more, kind of.
But
Like
I think
I could be wrong, but I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he would kill the boys.
No.
Yeah,
Like-
I don't think
I
they'll
would
do
see
that.
it the other way around. Right now,
Yeah,
everyone hates Butcher.
Now,
Everyone.
I also think he could take the Perma V. I think if he takes the Perma
Yeah.
V, because there's still some left that wasn't explored in this episode, I think if he takes that, he'll be cured. I don't think he's gonna die from his illness or whatever
don't think
he has
so?
to do. Yeah, I
I
think
just
there's
fe-
gonna be
when I
some way
watched
around
that
that
scene, I
next
really,
season.
I honestly was, I really felt like they could set, like I do get it. If he does take the perma V, that he heals, so it's completely different. But I don't know. There would be much more stakes with being the fact that that option wasn't there. If that option wasn't there, I feel like that scene would be so impactful.
No, I totally agree. 100%.
Perma V is like plot armor pretty much in the show right now.
Yeah.
Also, going off what were we saying before with Butcher saving Huey, I do feel like the end of the last episode when they basically you see Butcher tell Huey like he doesn't tell him about the effects of Temp V.
Yeah.
I felt like they were showing like Butcher was being like Butcher, and there was no turning back for him. But then at like one of the first scenes in the next episode, he completely changes his mind and kicks him away to save him.
Yeah,
It felt like
definitely a bait and switch.
Yeah, it felt like they didn't know what they were doing with it.
I agree.
I
That was a
didn't
scene
like
that
that. I did not. I felt like if they were gonna do one, just pick one.
Yeah, I
You either tell them or you don't. You don't switch. It was weird what they did.
they
with
could have
that.
had that conversation. I think that would have made that scene
Yeah.
better instead of him just sucker punching him.
Exactly.
But yeah, but then again, if he did, like Huey says, like there's a chance that he still would have done it.
I think Huey would have tried to. He was probably worried Huey would have tried to stop him.
I mean, like he might have, and he might have still just taken it. Like he almost did this episode. Like he took the extra vial.
Yeah.
But luckily,
Huey's arc was crazy this episode.
Yeah, he
But
had
in
a
the
he had a
season.
great arc. He still has the Temp V though, like for next
yeah.
season. So who knows what's gonna happen with that? Like I
hope he doesn't. take
I
it
don't
back.
think he should take it. If anything, he could give
His
it to someone
character
else.
is so much better without it. Like
Yeah.
when he finally accepts the fact that he can help others without
It was such a
having
great
Temp V.
moment too.
Yeah.
With Starlight. That was an epic
He
moment.
he basically enables her on like without powers. I feel
Yeah,
like
in
there's
that
no point
moment-
in him taking it again.
In that moment, he decides to just help her instead of quote unquote saving her again. Like he realizes in that moment that it's okay that she's stronger than him and that she can do things that he can't. Like it was just a perfect bow to his arc this season, I felt like.
Mhm.
And it was such a great moment too. Like you might say that like Starlight's hit on Soldier Boy didn't do shit, but it was still an epic moment.
I feel
And-
like the show forgets that Huey is like basically the protagonist of the show.
Yeah,
Like I feel like sometimes they forget.
no, totally. I agree. Just speaking on the Starlight moment though, I guess, like, do you guys think that, I mean, she can fly now. She flies now.
Oh,
Flies
God.
or floats?
You saw what I did there. I think
Oh,
she
yeah.
could fly. Like
Really?
probably. I think
Really?
think next
Yeah.
season maybe we'll see her explore her powers a little more. Like
Yeah.
I was thinking,
Some
I'm thinking
street
maybe-
light shit.
or even the
turn on all
sun,
the street,
or even the light from the sun,
damn,
bro.
That'd actually be kind of cool.
that'd be awesome. But yeah, that's just something I thought
Minor,
of when I
maybe
saw
like
that.
street lights or something, and we see her fly at night or some shit. But yeah,
Totally.
The sun would be like an end game type shit. Like
Yeah,
this
that would
is
be
fully
incredible.
max.
Like she
see
could
how-
use the
what she
sun
is
to
at her-
fly, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The energy from the sun.
I
Yeah.
think they might be setting it up so that she's more like powerful than she thought, and then she
Yeah.
could take on Homelander.
Because she's never done that before.
Yeah.
Right.
Float like that.
But-
so
Now, the
Definitely
only-
can't take on Homelander though.
Yeah.
They might say she might attempt.
You
but,
don't
like,
think she'll be able to?
I don't think so. No.
I don't know, man. Well,
All that
I-
power, what'd she do? Push back Soldier Boy? I mean,
Right.
I
well,
know
that
he's-
was
I
like
know
that was
he's
her
See,
super-
first
that's the thing.
time.
Yeah, I know
doing
he's
it,
super
though.
durable. Also, so
That
it's
was
not
her
good
first time
comparison.
doing it though. Like,
Yeah, I
if she
do know, yeah.
trains next season
Yeah.
and shit, like she could have a chance.
Now, I think that they could have done the scene like I didn't like that moment at all because I think the problem is that nothing really of substance happened. I think if you really
Yeah,
want to do
that's
this
the only
scene
thing.
well, the only thing you do is you have Starlight do this moment, but then you have either like Mother's Milk or maybe Kimiko, like have one of them go blind. Or have one
Right.
of them get damaged in the explosion because you want to give some consequences to this because what the fuck did it do to Soldier Boy? Fuck all, it did nothing.
Yeah.
Like it just knocked him down for a moment. But I think if you have this moment where Starlight is doing some crazy shit, and then you either have Soldier Boy go blind or you have Kimiko go blind and Mother's Milk go blind, I think you do some shit like that, and it really gives some substance to this moment where it shows like, I think, and also just narratively that makes so much sense because Starlight like is fighting and then she's like, well, this is the cost of war, like someone's getting hurt or fucking damaged, like it did nothing. Like it just felt so meaningless to me, and I really did not like this
The
moment
stakes
at all.
dropped within like 20 minutes.
I just thought it was a good,
Yeah,
like I agree. I don't think it was as good of a moment as it could have been, but I do think that it was a great moment for Starlight's character.
Yeah.
Like with the arc that she had this season, I thought it was a
For
great,
Huey and Starlight, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like perfect.
especially for the two of them. Yeah. And I am glad that they are together again. I thought that moment that they had in the car where she just like goes off on him and tells him that she told him so. That was just
Yeah.
such a great moment
yeah.
for both their characters. But anyway, Justin, you were gonna say something, I think, just now.
I don't know. I just like I think Starlight has had such better character moments in the past. Like I think her moment in season 2 where she like kills that dude by the car. Like I thought that scene was like a better character driven moment than this was, because nothing, I don't know. It just really rubbed me the wrong way because it's such like a powerful moment. But
It was
nothing
I will
happens.
agree with you.
Nothing
Like
happens.
it was more so a moment for Huey and Starlight, I think, but it was still good for her arc, personally, her personal arc. But it was definitely like overall, it was like a good, maybe it was even just a better moment for Huey because in that moment he just lets her do her thing.
Right,
celebrate her
probably.
use of V. But
Yeah.
the moment worked for me overall. Just
It's a
I
good
could
way
have
to
used
think of
a bit more of a punch from her, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned in that moment like something could have happened with or Kimiko or Frenchie. I think that something could have happened with Kimiko, and Frenchie this entire episode. I don't really think this episode gave them a
God,
lot to
yeah.
do. Had his moment with his daughter at the end, which was nice, and he had the "fuck your shield" line or whatever he said.
Mhm.
But I don't really think any of those characters really did anything of major substance this episode, which is unfortunate because they've been like shining stars this season. Like their arcs this season have been some of the best content of the season. I felt like,
Wait,
especially with
who?
Frenchie, and Kimiko.
Oh, and then it was
Frenchie
completely
got a little
ruined.
moment. Frenchie got a little moment with Butcher.
He was shot in the leg.
Yeah, but
Also,
Frenchie with Butcher.
well,
I
yeah,
thought
that was
good.
that was a
I
good
felt like
moment.
Yeah,
that.
I
I felt
mean-
like that was his arc this season. Him finally
Him standing
being
up
able
for
to stand
himself.
Yeah.
I don't think
Totally.
they had to do too much more with his character, but I felt like Kimiko really didn't. Not much happened at the end for her.
She
just
had
a
that
stick
awesome
fight.
sequence with
No, but like character. wait,
Nah,
Maniac, bro.
it
That was a
ruined
good
it.
song
Oh.
choice.
It
you don't
ruined her
think that worked?
character. No, it was
You think so?
terrible. It was
Ah, okay.
atrocious. Because look, you had the last episode
thought
where
it
she
was
was
fun.
like, where she was talking about like, like maybe without the V, like I'm still a monster or whatever, and you have this whole moment, and then
Yeah, I
she
see where you're
just
coming from.
is murdering these dudes to a song, like, and it's supposed to be like a joke, but you have like this 7-episode buildup of her like not wanting to be like this cold-blooded
Well,
killer, and
to
then
be
she
fair,
puts on
I
this
took
music
it-
and she's
protecting
killing.
Frenchie. She's protecting Frenchie too.
I took
Nah,
it
but you don't need
as
the
like a-
music. You don't need the music.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. Actually,
You make it silent.
I
and
did
then
like it, but I agree with you.
You make it silent. It makes it so much better because it shows like this is what she has to do regardless. But her having the music makes it seem like, oh, it's just all fun and jokes. Like
They make her fight scenes fun though. They've been doing that all season.
Yeah.
They
They
have,
try
yeah.
to make her fight scenes really fun.
they do, but when you have that buildup of them not wanting to be like that anymore, it really just feels cheap and like
They were trying to convey like this time she chose her powers and she understands like she can use them to help people and like she's comfortable with them.
Right.
But I do agree that it completely goes against her character of like maybe it was a little bit too far to just be murdering motherfuckers to, like
Yeah.
a song.
yeah, that's exactly like
Yeah.
that's. I don't know.
I feel you. Totally.
I don't know.
Like just from a vibe standpoint, it worked for me. But now that I hear what you said, I totally agree with you in terms of
I
just
feel
like
like that's why
character.
a rewatch is important. I feel
Yeah.
like you miss a
Yeah.
lot of stuff at first because the excitement and the hype of like the season builds up and you just see anything fun. It's like, oh yeah, but then when you really like dive
Yeah,
into
you
the
dive into
characters, you're
it.
like, wait, hold on.
Yeah,
That
like,
might
that's a
not that
little-
might not work for that character, but like
Right.
in the first moment, it's like, Jesus, that's amazing.
Yeah, but then I don't
But
know.
it is still for any show that's amazing. But like you hold this show to such a high standard because the character writing has been phenomenal.
and we care so much about Kimiko as
Yeah,
well and her arc that
exactly.
she had
Yeah,
this
she's
season.
been-
Where
she's been
like
so good
I
this
see where you're
season.
coming from, Justin. Yeah.
And the past 7 episodes, none of it has been lower than a 9.2. like 9.5, and then to have like such a drop off in this episode, in my opinion, is probably what hurt the most.
Yeah, like I'll say it again. I really, really like this episode a lot. I thought it was great, but it was definitely a drop, albeit a pretty minor drop in my opinion, but it was still a drop nonetheless in quality.
I'm just jaded. I'm jaded on this episode. I'll be honest.
No, you're becoming like Tom.
I know.
You're turning
I know.
into Tom.
It's just because I expected so much better, like so much. I don't know.
You know what I do fear with this show? I do like one thing was I just feel like it's getting really popular that they're gonna try to
They're gonna try to milk it.
shove
They're already making
A,
tons of
milk it,
spin-offs.
or
Yeah, they got a spinoff.
or B,
the
just
varsity
shove out a
spin-off
new
coming out.
season. Like they're not gonna take their time.
I
with
think
these seasons and
they'll-
just try to shove it out for like just they want the money. That's just what I'm nervous about.
I mean, Amazon doesn't need them.
Amazon doesn't need the money, but like the popularity is there right
Yeah.
now. Like everyone is hopping on the show right now.
I think they'll
Yeah.
definitely milk the spin-offs, but I don't see it going past season 5.
I don't know if you
I
guys
hope
saw
you're
this,
right.
but apparently the spinoff plays in right after season 3 and it leads into season 4. I don't know
heard
how
that,
that
yeah.
works.
Yeah, it
I'm
takes
a little
place.
curious. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
it
time
takes place
between.
during season 3 part of it.
Oh,
and then
there-
it leads
yeah.
into
Oh, it
season
does?
4. But yeah, Dylan, I agree with you. Like I wouldn't have said this, and in fact, I said I want the show to go on forever a couple of episodes ago. But like I do agree with you. I
Gotta
think it would be bad if it goes past season 5.
Yeah,
Like
all the greatest shows of all
I
time.
think
end at,
with
like,
the
season
ending,
4 or 5.
the
6
ending
seasons
confirmed
max.
5. I feel like the ending. No, yeah, the ending confirmed at least 5. Like
Yeah.
next season won't
Mhm.
be the last, but I do feel like 5
Totally.
would be perfect.
There's a lot of loose ends this season that I don't think they could just wrap up in one season. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
no way. They
one
I
of
feel like
those
they're
loose ends being
beginning-
that Soldier Boy is still alive.
Yeah, Soldier Boy. Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting what they do there, as being that he's under Mallory's control now. But we'll see how that turns out. Another thing that this season leaves off with, who knows if anything will come with it, but like just speaking in terms of it, I guess we could say that Maeve was probably the MVP in the fight. This was probably my biggest problem with it. I think she should have bit the bullet by sacrificing herself.
Yeah.
Because what use is her character anyway now? She
I
doesn't
would
have
like
her
to see
powers,
her with an eye patch.
and we do, don't we? At the end, like
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do.
But I think she should have died in that explosion. One, because like it just completely makes you question Soldier Boy's powers, because like every
Yes.
time and this was a fucking nuke this time, but every time he's done like a fucking he's exploded a person or whatever, he's used his ability, like people just fucking like straight up incinerated. Like Kimiko didn't, but she lost her powers and she was like severely injured.
So
Maeve didn't have
yeah.
a scratch.
Yeah. I
Maeve
feel
She
like
lost her powers.
Kimiko and Maeve, the similarities between them are they're extremely durable. So
Yeah.
when you get that blast, you would instantly lose your powers, is what I would think. So Maeve had lost her powers in the explosion, but then she survives the fall.
Yeah, that's
Where
Yeah.
it makes no sense to me. I would
I
assume
agree.
if she survives the blast, she loses her powers. It's the only way she would survive,
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
being incinerated, but then now she's how many feet down, and she just completely survives.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, and I felt happy for her that she got a happy ending.
Yeah, she got her happy ending, and
but
just-
it
and
would have
she-
been so much better if she died, fighting. I felt
Yeah.
like that's what I felt like her performance, like you see her almost like cry a little bit when
Yeah.
that bomb, like when she knows what's about to happen. That it just feels like it goes.
it was a
to
fantastic
nothing.
moment.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she's like, I know
She
what I
knows
gotta
she's
do.
dying, yeah.
Yeah.
She tears up. She knows she's gonna die, and then all of a sudden you see her happy with her girlfriend. It's like, come on, like
Mhm.
you have to take risks in the show, and I feel like this is completely irrelevant, but like Stranger Things is going down the same path right now.
Oh God.
When
Oh yeah.
they're doing the same thing,
Yeah.
like you have to take risks. It's okay to kill like a likable character.
Which they did, but they could have killed a main.
Yeah, but
character.
everyone knew.
Yeah.
Everyone knew what
There
they
was
were gonna do.
Maeve has been building up for a long, long time though. Like she's been an important character in every season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And
And
I
it would
think
have been emotional. I felt like there was, it would have been great for her to die, fighting. But nope.
I agree. I
Well,
think
but-
that regardless, this episode ended her series arc well. Like, I don't think she needs to come back. She could just go into the sunset for whatever I get, because there's no reason for her to come back now. But like, I feel like it could have been stronger if she genuinely sacrificed herself for sure. Like, it would have been a much more emotional, a much more emotionally impactful end to this episode, because like this season made me give more of a shit about Maeve, which I already did. I cared about Maeve a lot in seasons 1 and 2, but this season specifically made me care about her even more, to like an even greater degree. If she like sacrificed herself like that, it would have been great for her character, and it would have been a great emotional punch that this episode needed more of. But
I
yeah,
don't know. What bugged me the most was the little Easter egg of Jensen Ackles being on Supernatural when they hired the CW to do the CGI for that.
oh, do you mean like for
For that
which-
the CGI was ass. Like when
oh,
Maeve
in the
like
fight
yeah.
with
When-
the
no, when-
explosion?
Yeah, when she like when they're falling out of the building.
Oh yeah. I didn't think it was,
would-
I did. It was yeah.
Go back and
wasn't
watch like the
terrible.
green screen. I would have
Right.
rather them like animated as like Black Noir like cartoons for it was bad.
Yeah, I'm watching it now. It's atrocious.
It's pretty fucking
I gotta look it up.
It's so bad.
it's
Oh
atrocious,
my
bro.
god.
Shit, now I'm scared to look at it again. But
'Cause
like,
they
why?
do this really cringy like close-up shot. To,
Yeah, I was
to
laughing
Jensen,
during that.
but you could tell it's a green screen in the background, so he's just like fidgeting, and then you have Maeve holding this like this dummy, and like her face looks photoshopped in. It's bad. It's bad. It's rough.
Shit, I'm gonna have to look that up again later. I'm
it's
scared
real
to see
rough.
that now.
Actually, like
Both
the
of you guys are
special
saying
effects
it?
for that whole episode were pretty good. Like if everything was really good except
Yep.
for that. Like that was the one thing where I was like, that's a little too bad.
That's crazy to say. I didn't notice it in my first watch, but like, yeah, I'm sure I will notice it now. But that's crazy to say, because I feel like at this point, with how popular this show is, like Amazon just gives it an unlimited budget.
Oh,
Basically,
they dropped the ball.
they can afford it. But
Yeah.
yeah, like,
Yeah, and I mean,
as you guys are saying, like, there's no excuse.
I kind of understand. I mean, there is like it was like a 2-second scene. I don't think they're gonna drop the money to dangle her like 30
Yeah.
or like 100 feet in the sky for them to get that shot. Like I see why they would use a green screen, but
But unlike Disney,
it could have gone a little
unlike
bit
Disney, Amazon can afford it. Like,
yeah,
Dude, I'm watching this.
but they're all
scene.
about profit.
it's a drop in a bucket for
I'm
them.
watching this scene. I'm seeing like
This is their
Maeve
most
look
popular
at
show. They
Starlight. Oh my
should be
God.
going all out, even more than Lord of the Rings, in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's my personal opinion, but
Lord of the Rings could
It
be
should
good
be-
though.
it could be. Like, I'm
It could be
excited
really
for
good.
it, but yeah.
Oh my God, I just saw the scene now.
Yeah, it's rough.
I was
Right?
saying before though, like you see Maeve look at Starlight, like come on, like that whole like acknowledgement of what's about to happen, like it really doesn't make sense why they kept her. Like you set all this up just to be that disappointing. Like
Yeah,
to
and now
keep
she
her
doesn't have any
alive.
powers, so her character's
Yeah.
done anyway. Like, what's the difference between having your character not show up again versus just killing them?
It's just the whole happy ending thing, but like I feel like her character, she never got a break anyway, you know?
right. That's her character.
Her
Yeah,
the
that's her-
whole thing with her girlfriend too was, you know, like she didn't feel
Yeah.
safe with Homelander and the Soups, and she didn't want to be with her. I feel like, you know, she had nobody anyway, and now she's good, and now her girlfriend, you know, they're dating and everything, and she gets this
Yeah.
happy ending, which is it's good for her, you know, it's good for her, but not for the show writing. I don't think so.
Yeah, and I just watched it. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And I feel like
It's-
I
it's
feel like
pretty
that
bad.
death would have really affected Annie into season 4.
Yes.
Oh, I totally agree,
Yes.
because
That
like,
would have really been
yeah.
good for her character in the next season, for her to, you know, go through that and, you know, live on with Maeve's legacy. But, you know, she's still there, so there's, you know, there's nothing for her to really care about anymore.
100%. Like, yeah, they dropped the ball in terms of
Yeah.
Maeve, which sucks, because it just could have been such a better moment. Like, if it actually meant something, because neither of them died. They're both still alive. Like, if one of them died,
Mm-hmm.
even if it was Soldier Boy, like, it is what it is. But like, there were no stakes.
I
No.
didn't feel like Soldier Boy was dying just because of, like, you know, I feel like there's
Yeah,
just
I'm
no
glad they
killing
didn't kill
at
him
this
off,
point,
because
yeah.
there's more they could do with him too. He's such a great
There probably
character, and
is,
I feel like
yeah.
they only scratched
How
the
did the
surface. this
CIA
season.
get Soldier Boy before Vought?
That's a
Good
good
question.
I
It's a
have
good
no
question.
fucking idea.
I mean,
saw
they
some-
got
he could
Star-
still
they got
kill
fucking
Homelander
Stormfront
anytime.
last
I
season.
saw some theories about A Train.
A-Train.
Someone was
Oh.
saying like maybe
Oh,
he found the body and quickly brought
Okay.
it to the CIA before.
Well, why would he
y'all
work
can
with the
get it.
CIA though?
well, I
'Cause he
mean, like,
doesn't like
it,
Homelander.
But
Yeah, he
what
doesn't-
ties
he's
does
not
he have?
fucking with Homelander anymore.
why don't
What
we
time?
just talk about the stuff with A Train this episode, because I think I could buy that theory if they
Yeah.
reveal that next
He's,
season with
he's not fucking with Homelander.
he's
no
not
more.
yeah
It's only deep
this
meat riding competition. He's
Yeah.
It's a one man
With-
ride right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the Deep's gonna win. He's got that fucking portrait.
Yeah,
he's got
got
that
the whole
portrait
thing,
in his
Jesus
pad, bro,
Christ,
that he looks
bro.
at while he fucks
Who's
his
the bigger
octopus.
meat rider, Todd or Deep, bro? That's a big.
Oh, 100% Deep.
yeah, I
100%.
know. Like,
Yeah.
Well, wait, hold on, wait, rewind. But Kimiko and MM get Maeve. They pick up Maeve. So,
they get
I mean,
Maeve, but so who knows? Who knows where that explosion sent her?
I
Right.
see.
Could have it?
Yeah,
like,
it
I
could have
feel like
blasted her like a
Soulja
mile
Boy-
away.
Soldier Boy would have went straight down.
Yeah.
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 She could have gone like miles away.
Oh, I
Totally.
see. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
But yeah, just wrapping up my thought on A Train. I thought that the scene that he had with his brother, that really sent his arc somewhere that could be interesting in season
Yeah.
4. It's where I want them to go. Like, there's a reason that he was kept alive, and this is the reason for him to actually finally have like some sort of turn, like some sort of redemption arc. Because I think he deserves it at this point with all he's been through, even
Yeah, I
though
think-
he's a dick.
He's one of
But-
the only ones who could pull it off.
Yeah,
for
with
redemption.
how they set him up at the end of the season, like I think they could definitely pull it off, and it could be good for his character. I'm not exactly holding my breath at this very moment, but I trust that they will continue to push, like they will continue giving a reason for them to keep him alive. You know,
I want to see A Train getting like some A Train fight sequences, man. Like
I think we'll see that.
a speed. Yeah, I really want to see it because a speedster and like
he's got the new
seeing a
ticker.
speedster. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, the speed scenes are still some of the best. Fucking
Yeah,
speed
exactly.
scenes
The
ever.
fucking Blue Hawk scene, like
The
crazy.
sound effect too. Like,
yeah.
every
Oh,
time
God.
he goes, like it's the sound design
Oh,
of the
yeah, the
show is
train scene.
spectacular. Yeah, it's great. But also just another side character to briefly touch upon that we've talked about in previous episodes to some extent is Ashley.
Oh my God! I've
all
been
that needs to be
waiting
said,
for
I
all
wanted
that
to
needs to be
get on
said
that.
is that
Called it.
we called it.
Yeah.
She had the fucking wig. Like it was,
Yeah.
it was more so disturbing than funny in the way they handled it, which I kind of liked, with
Yeah.
Homelander just like telling her to take it off.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, like, perfect. Like, it's exactly what they should have done. And like, she's still power hungry because she tells her assistant to fuck off in the end when they're evacuating the tower. So I just really, she's probably the most minor character in the entire show, but I really like what they did with her this season. I thought it was good stuff.
Nah, she killed it
Yeah.
this season.
She
I think
did,
she's
yeah.
Really,
She was
really
great.
interesting.
And I'm
That-
excited to see where they go for even more next season.
Yeah.
That whole scene of just him explaining to like each of them one by one.
Yeah,
like,
how
that
he fucking
they
hates
just
them and
don't
that they're
mean a
not his
fucking
family.
thing to him.
Destroying
Yeah.
all the
Mhm.
meat riders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
one
I
by
mean,
one.
Aiden said it like before, like in the beginning of the season, but they do so good of just like whenever Homelander's on screen, like anyone could die at any point,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like no matter who they are.
I feel like
Yeah,
it's gonna be a
you're just right.
different type though in season 4. Like
Oh,
now
totally.
he
Yeah.
knows like it's gonna be different. Like
Mhm.
his
Deep is gonna
personal
be his
references-
right-hand man.
Yeah, I know.
Totally. Like he's wanted it, he's got it. Just speaking of the biggest stick rider, your biggest stick rider, the Deep. Even just the way he has him kill the vice presidential candidate in that scene for Newman, and then this is like, I feel like this is the only thing we haven't touched upon yet to some extent. Just the way the season ends with Newman declaring that she's gonna be vice president with the dude running for president, and that creates an issue for season 4, which I kind of hope, I don't know, it could be interesting, but I'm more interested in the actual ending with Homelander and Ryan, of course, as we all are. But
Yeah.
Newman is interesting because like I felt like what they did at the end of season 2, like like me like seeing it, I feared her. I was like,
Yeah,
what
Yeah.
the hell
same.
is she gonna
It was
do
a
in
crazy
season
moment.
3? Like season 3 is gonna be crazy with her. Then they kind of sidelined her for a long time.
Yeah, I was
Took
confused
her
on
into
like
the politics sides of thing when I felt like really what we wanted to see was like her actually being a soup in season 3.
and I think
And
we'll
then
see
Yeah.
that.
then they're setting it up for season 4, hopefully.
You
But
know what I think
do
they're
feel
gonna
like
do?
they said they were trying to set her up for something big in season 2, but like, and then they really didn't do too much in season 3.
I think next season with that plot line, I think they're gonna try to do some sort of satire on the insurrection. I could totally see it.
100%.
Yeah, just with the way this season ends
Oh,
with
that'd be
Homelander
funny as fuck,
supporters, like I think we're gonna see something like that.
I mean, that's what
them
happens
going
in the
after Newman.
comics. That's what happens
Is
in
it
the
really?
comics, essentially, yeah.
Oh, we're definitely getting it then.
Very
100%.
similar. Very similar.
I know the show doesn't really follow the comics like at all,
Right.
pretty much, but like since it's in there and like it's a real world event that they could totally poke fun at in like a very smart and interesting way that I can almost guarantee I could totally see them doing it.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting. But yeah, I think that was the last thing that I wanted to touch on. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about that we haven't gotten to that we missed?
Yeah, I think Ryan's character could be really interesting for season 4.
It's a really frustrating character.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
But
let's
that's
talk
not
about
I
nothing.
can
Yeah,
tell.
right.
I can tell we're all gonna hate him next season.
Yeah,
Like that's
it's
what they're
not
gonna
easy.
want for people
Right.
to hate him. But
Well,
like
hold
I
on.
could see him being redeemed too, obviously.
Yeah,
He's
we
not
gotta
in
t-
too deep yet.
We got to talk about the moment, the turning moment where I thought everything turned to shit when Butcher started to attack Soldier Boy after Soldier Boy like hit Ryan.
Oh shit! Right? Like how could we forget that?
That-
Like didn't work for me. Didn't
No,
work for me.
Hated it.
Like that could have been avoided so easily. Butcher could have just fucking took him and like he's invulnerable.
Yeah.
Right. So he could have just fucking taken him out of the room and just fucking locked him in somewhere. Fucking
There
flew him
were-
to fucking Africa. Or
I
something.
wanted to
you
see
can't-
like complete and utter chaos in that scene. I was hoping Ryan wouldn't be there, and I was hoping Black Noir
Yeah.
would still be alive to fight Soldier Boy,
Yeah.
and it was just gonna turn.
I
into, like,
don't mind that Black Noir wasn't there. Like I
Mhm.
thought it was a good twist.
Because it was
there.
good for
Yeah.
Homelander's character.
Yeah.
Like the one person he actually felt like cared about him, like just abandoned him. I feel like that was big for him.
Yeah, but
And I feel like no
do
matter
agree that
what
Ryan
Black
shouldn't have been
Noir
there.
said, yeah, Ryan should not have.
It added stakes, but like it just didn't make sense.
I knew
At
when I
all.
saw him there, I'm like, all right, this is gonna play out completely different than what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
not expect him to be there.
They could have handled that a lot better, even with him being there. Like it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I love that Soldier Boy like called him out, like everything you wanted, like he's
Exactly.
right there,
Exactly.
and you're not gonna do this shit. And this motherfucker, like, oh god, it was so frustrating, man. It was so fucking frustrating because, like, look, I knew that Homelander can't die. Like, they have a season 4. Homelander cannot die.
Totally. Yeah.
But I think if you really want to take his character to an interesting level, you have Homelander lose his powers, right?
Or Soldier Boy just could have killed Ryan.
Oh god, dude.
And-
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah.
That would have been great. Like
Soldier
Yeah.
Boy kills Ryan,
Soldier Boy kills
Basically,
Ryan. Homelander
yeah.
kills Soldier Boy out of a fucking fit of rage.
and Butcher just doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Exactly.
He's like, what the fuck? No, but I think if you have Soldier Boy,
Everything goes to shit. That would have been perfect.
I think if you have Soldier
No, if
Boy
they-
take
yeah.
Homelander's powers, and then you have Homelander like, either trying to work with Vought or is Vagabond still alive? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I think Homelander possibly could have killed him,
I don't
but
remember.
I don't know
Fal-
for sure.
I don't.
Last
he's
season.
alive. I thought he was alive, to be honest.
He might
call
still
him-
be alive.
I call him Falcone because he's from
Right, Gotham.
and
Yeah.
then Rawls from The Wire. But he's yeah. I mean, like I see him maybe like
No,
reconnecting-
Newman killed him.
Did he?
Oh shit.
Did he?
Oh, in Congress,
Oh,
right?
and- yeah.
Was he there? He was there, right?
Yeah, I think he was.
Oh, he
doing
was in the
his-
wheelchair, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh shit.
Yes,
Okay.
she
right.
killed him. Yep.
Okay, so forget that. Yeah. But
One thing that I will say that like was kind of strange not to see in the rest of the season since we last saw him was where was Edgar the rest of the season?
Yeah.
Like,
Terry
why
Rozier-
why wasn't Soldier Boy going after him?
Yeah, he was making meth. I mean, what are you gonna do?
I mean, probably, yeah.
he went off to do.
He's
season
waiting.
3
He's
of
waiting to get
Breaking
his
Bad.
fucking face blown off. But
Yeah.
Honestly, real reason is probably Better Call Saul.
you think?
Yeah, real
Oh,
reason
100%.
Better Call Saul.
Or Mandalorian too, possibly.
Yeah.
Or I
'cause
don't know.
Probably at that time, yeah.
But-
maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
probably both, but like story.
It's just
reason,
kind
I'm
of
not
weird how
quite
they
sure.
just left that hanging because like they set him up for like either Homelander to kill him after what he said to him or Soldier Boy to kill him because like he especially had a fucking he gave the order for
I felt like
shit to go down.
Stan's character was so good that I
Yeah, he
do
was
feel-
great
I
this
do
season.
feel like conflict.
He's gonna come
with-
back.
Conflict with schedules and stuff with like other shows. I feel like that is the real reason they gave him the ending they did. I feel like that was not what they wanted to do with this character.
And
I
it
feel like
makes
I
sense.
feel like he would have been detrimental to the rest of the season. Say he wasn't in those two shows. To be honest,
Yeah. I mean,
do
he's
feel
gonna
like that's the reason.
he's gonna come back, but like
Yeah, he
I don't
will
know
come
what
back.
they're gonna do with him now because like it would have been perfect
Something with-
if they had
something with
Soldier Boy go
Newman.
after him.
He'll
Yeah,
have
probably something
involvement with Newman.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. It was just kind of weird. And I just it was weird to me.
Oh,
not the-
Homelander
not
doesn't
the
kill
biggest.
that octopus.
Oh, he will. I could see that. I could see him
Bro,
just
come
like
on, don't
fucking
say that.
squeezing it by the
No,
Oh,
don't say
God.
that.
what was the octopus's name again? Fucking
Timothy.
Timothy.
Yeah.
no, the one that he's fucking right now.
Oh,
Oh,
I only know Timothy.
I only know Timothy, man.
Oh yeah.
the
Timothy's a fan
legendary
favorite. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Timothy's my favorite one.
But dude, I don't. It frustrates me because like
Ambrosia.
You s-
Ambrosia. I hope he
Yeah.
doesn't have to
such
eat
a such a
ambrosia.
philosophical name.
Yeah.
yeah,
He's
like-
really deep with it.
Yeah, really deep. Yeah.
like you
No
set up
pun
this
intended.
you set up this perfect fucking fighting finale, and then you have Butcher throw it all, and I don't know. It just didn't feel right because I feel like I don't know. I go back and forth because I think like the Butcher that we've seen so far is like a dick on the outside, but like really caring on the inside, right? Like he did that to Huey. He's done that to the boys. Like he's done that before, right? So
Yeah.
it doesn't seem too out of character. But I think when the stake is Homelander, you know, who has not only like fucked over you personally, but has put the like the entire world at risk, right? I think
Right.
that's a completely different stake. If you had Homelander only being a piece of shit, like by raping Becca, right, and like that was the worst that he's done, right?
Yeah.
I think you have a completely different scene because you know he made a promise to Becca that he'll protect the kid, right? But
Yeah.
the fact that we know who Homelander is as a character, and with the fact that we know how batshit crazy he is and how batshit crazy he's going to get, it doesn't work for me because I think that Butcher would probably like know the risk. Like, hey, this is Homelander. We gotta kill him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. It didn't feel right.
Also, Kamiko survived the explosion from Soldier Boy, so
Barely.
barely, but like there's a chance Ryan could have survived and then lost his powers too, and then just grew up to have a normal life,
Yeah, if Ryan was even like
which
remotely
would be even
as strong
better.
as Homelander,
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but then again, like I feel like I don't know, with just how young he is and like how he pretty
Yeah,
much
he-
just got his powers last season. Like I feel like he's not strong enough yet
I
to like
guess
actually
so.
withstand that. But I don't know. It would have
Well,
been
like
cool
I
to
feel
see.
like they're setting it up for him to be stronger than Homelander.
Yeah, but
Years
he's
to
not there
come.
yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
years
I
to come.
guess.
not there
I mean, he fried
Becca.
Stormfront.
that's not far right there.
In,
That's true.
in terms of like probably just doing laser eyes, yeah.
I guess,
but like
yeah,
strength,
defense, he'd
strength
probably-
has to
yeah.
come with time. Like he's not
Right,
gonna
right.
he's gonna have to grow in order to have the strength and probably like speed that Homelander has.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, I guess before we wrap up, just why don't we all just quickly give a score for the season overall out of 10? I'll start, I guess. I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10. Like it was insanely close to being a 10 out of 10 season for me, but there were just a couple things, not only in this episode that kind of held it back for me, but I will go so far as to say that this has been the best season of the show so far for me. Like I've
Easily.
loved every season so far, but this season has been the best with its shortcomings in the last episode being counted and stuff. Like it still beats seasons 1 and 2, like in my opinion. I just think the character arcs and just all the crazy moments that we've had in this episode have just been the best that the show's ever been, which I'm very excited to see where they take season 4. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I just hope that in the future they avoid any of the shortcomings that this episode had. But yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. Justin, how about you?
The entire season, I'm giving it a 9.2, 9.3. I think the last episode had a lot of faults, but I think it's possible to be redeemed on season 4 with an expansion. It doesn't necessarily ruin the show for me, but I just look at it differently, and I don't know. I really loved everything so far, so I think that's why it also hurts so much. But who knows? We'll see what happens. But even the worst episode is still some of the best episodes of television. So I really gotta stop complaining. But
Don't let Tom's
jadedness. I know.
don't let it distract you from
It is.
how fucking amazing the show is.
Yeah.
Even in its lower tier
Even
episodes.
if it's worse, it's still some of the best television.
100%. Dylan, how about you? What do you think? What do you think of the season
I
overall?
mean,
What's your score?
Yeah, Justin had a really good point. Like it being The Boys, I have so much higher expectations.
Right.
Like I expect so much more from them than other shows. But like it's so unique compared to other shows, and like without the expectations, it's probably a 9 out of 10.
Totally. Aiden?
Yeah, easy 9 out of 10 to be honest. Just a few little minor things keep it from a 10 to be honest, but 10s aren't easy to get, and I feel like this show was very close to it. I feel like the final episode really brought out some minute bad things, but I felt like this season was just amazing.
Agreed. I will still firmly plant my feet and say that this is my favorite show on TV right now.
I
and
agree.
It's 100% one of the best. Definitely. It's in the top 3, in my opinion. It's one of the top 3 best shows on TV right now. But yeah. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. These have been our thoughts on The Boys season 3 finale. Let us know in the comments what you thought about the episode and the season as a whole. What would you rate it out of 10? Let us know. We'd want to hear about it. We'll probably be back for season 4, maybe even the spinoffs. I think they're making a season 2 of Diabolical. I don't know if that's confirmed, but I'm pretty sure it's safe to say since that was a pretty big success if it hasn't already been greenlit, but
I'm sure
we'll be
we
back
will.
probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aiden, Justin, Dylan, thank you for coming on to talk about The Boys with me.
Thank you
I
for having me.
appreciated having you guys.
Glad to be back.
But yeah.
Yes, sir. Anyways, we'll see you soon. Goodbye.